Hey everybody, I'm John Granado, and that's Lance Zierlein. You can hear us mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet so you get all of our content here at SportsMap HOU. Lance, we're going to talk about the Texans, but let's go back to the Sunday game. I am hearing so many conspiracy theories about the game. First of all, Lovey was PO'd at the organization because he met with Cal, okay, and he knew he wasn't going to keep his job, so he won on purpose. Okay? That's what he did, just to screw the organization.
Right.
The other one is that the Colts lost on purpose so that they can move up and trade with the Bears and get that number 1 pick and steal Bryce Young away. You know, I don't know when Rodney Thomas, who missed that ball at the end of the game, when they told him you better miss that ball. Okay, I'm not sure if it was before or after his interception, which helped the Colts take the lead. And then there's Nick Caserio, who's getting a lot of blame as well for not taking control of the situation. I don't think people remember, though. Hugh Jackson, remember, the league was investigating the Bengals about tanking. And it
Browns,
looked like
right? Browns or Bengals?
Oh, excuse me. It was the Browns.
Right.
The Browns, they were tanking.
Right.
And they were going to get into some serious trouble. So if there was any overt action by the Houston Texans to lose that football game, there could have been real repercussions from the league.
Yeah, the Texans wanted to win the game the same way the Jets coaches and players wanted to win the game the year before, and they lost out on Trevor Lawrence. So, or I guess not the year before, but the year before that.
Yeah.
They lost out on Trevor Lawrence, ended up with Zach Wilson. Here's the thing. As a dad who's been a lifelong coach, he's retired now, who coached in college football and pro football, they always want to win. Players want to win. It's a reflection on them and their craft, and they don't want to lose. They don't like the feeling of losing. It makes them feel bad. And so while fans love the idea of tanking and things like that, I don't think in the NFL you're ever going to see tanking from players or from coaching staffs. Now, you know, might some guys be put on the IR or whatever? I don't know. You might see situations like that. But because football it so rarely is impacted by just the first player of the draft, and it's oftentimes the best player isn't even drafted at first, it's less advantageous to tank than it is in basketball and certainly at times in baseball as well.
Well, basketball, though, the Rockets had the worst record, and they got the 3rd pick.
Yeah.
Basketball, you got a lottery, so you're not going to get it.
Well, let me ask, so I thought about this. Should we start to think about a lottery system where the bottom 3 teams, maybe not anything more than that, where they start to have a lottery for the bottom 3?
Yeah, I mean, maybe, you know what? It's not a bad idea since you know you're going to try to lose ever, but they're not. See, that's the thing about this. And you name it, your dad, your brother, they coach. I've been in so many locker rooms. I've never seen a team say, "Can't wait to lose today."
No,
it never, ever, ever, ever happens because the coaches ain't in on that. You know why? Because the players got to play for that contract for next year. Okay, if I don't play hard in this last game and I'm tanking and I'm trying to lose this football game, I ain't playing next year.
And if you're a coach, if you keep putting bad things on tape, number one, you're going to get fired. Number 2, you're not going to have a job come, the next time around. Like it doesn't make sense for coaches or players. So the conspiracy theories, I completely wipe away.
Well, and everybody's losing their mind because it's not the number 1 pick and it's the number 2 pick. There's literally one guy off the board. One guy. Now, it mattered when Trevor Lawrence was that guy off the board. It doesn't matter this year. I'm not even sure, you're not even sure Bryce Young is the best quarterback in this draft.
Well, we got to see. I think Bryce is probably going to end up being the best quarterback when I finish my evaluation.
Is he going to be the best pro quarterback?
Well, is he going to be the best player to come out of this draft? I would tell you that there is a decent chance the answer is going to be no. I think it's a 50-50 proposition, and I like Bryce Young. But here's the thing. You made the point. There is no elite traits, elite talent, and I don't like using the phrase generational, so I don't use that. But is there a franchise-changing talent? A lot of people would argue, yes, Bryce Young is. I don't know if he's franchise-changing or not. I like all the talent, but I like for him to be a certain size because historically those guys hold up better. But for me, there's so many needs, and you look at the players who would be there available at 2, and maybe even if you wanted to trade out a 2, what would be available to you? I just – when they won, I didn't see that as some death knell for this franchise like others did.
So ridiculous. Well, let's talk about the coaching after we hear from Doc Manavis. If you're older and you think that you have a prostate issue, then it's time to come and see Dr. Michelle Manavis, isn't it?
Going in is the first step, just speaking to one of us. Most of the time we hear incomplete emptying, urinary frequency, erectile dysfunction. Speaking to me about how this has been affecting your life is really the first step to finding the care that you actually need.
If you think you have an enlarged prostate, one place to go, 975prostate.com. Hey, Lance, okay. Is there a coach out there that excites you for the Houston Texans? Is there one name that you really want to see?
Yeah, kind of Ben Johnson, the play caller for the Detroit Lions. I don't know if he'd be a good head coach. I don't know if he's experienced enough. I mean, he was a coach with the Dolphins and then quality control after that in Detroit in 19. And I think that was because Dan Campbell was just trying to get him in the building, bring him over from Miami. So it's not like he had never even coached, but he's been an offense coordinator for 1 year. But man, was he creative this year. And man, did he get the most out of Jared Goff and that offense. And so he's exciting to me just from a standpoint of I liked his offense. I do think that a guy like Sean Payton, who understands what it's supposed to look like, I think a guy who's respected, that he's going to go about things the way that is the best way to try to win championships. It would take my worries off the McNair family. If you don't have the right head coach, and I worry about Cal having to be too involved or being put into situations where he's got to make decisions, and I don't think either one of us want that to happen. I think Sean Payton is the type of coach, at least, John, and we can get into the personnel stuff. He's the type of coach that he knows what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, I'm not interested, okay?
How come?
I'm interested in a young a guy who's going to bring new ideas to the table. I'm interested in the Zach Taylors and the LaFleurs, the McVays, and the Shanahans. I'm interested in a young guy, and especially an offensive-minded guy.
Tell me you're an ageist without saying you're an ageist.
I am an ageist, okay? Wow. I am, okay? And I'm going to say I'm old, and I can be that because I am one of the old people, right? It's like I can say what I want about Italian people because I'm Italian. So I can do that because I'm older. So here's the deal: is I want a young, innovative coach. I want somebody that's going to bring ideas, fresh ideas. I want somebody that is going to be more relatable to the players. I think Sean Payton is great in Dallas. Go to Dallas. That's fine. You go there. Jim Harbaugh, you're too weird. I enjoy a nice milk with my steak, but you're too weird, okay? We don't need that here. I want a relatable coach that is going to bring fresh ideas. How about that there aren't that many? Listen, the Texans were stuck with Culley after all was said and done. Who else was available? There were a lot of guys available, but they were stuck with Culley. There's not that many openings this year. That's a
so far. It's unless it jumps off here in the very near future. Yeah, some of the firings already happened in season, so there actually are some that you're not where you've had guys take over
7 or 8,
less than in the past.
Yeah, no,
and there still may be some. Dallas could open up after the playoffs. That's clearly one that I think would open up if they lost in the first round.
What do you make of Caserio? Man, this is the Caserio we'd never seen before in that press conference. What about him ceding power if a coach couldn't have him in that position? That's really, and he said it like 4 times.
I would see, so ceding power, if it meant maybe giving away control of the 53-man roster, that's fine. What I don't want to see again is a head coach who's in charge of personnel and you just have a puppet on the side. I don't want that. I already saw it with Bill O'Brien. It was a bad move. We talked about how bad it was. It's not ideal. It's never ideal on NFL teams. If you want to discuss what the structure looks like between a Nick Caserio and whoever the coach is, that's fine. But I think Nick Caserio needs to be the general manager. That's his job, and a coach's job is to coach. The gray area where it crosses over in the Venn diagram, you guys can decide some of those things about how the decision-making goes down, but I don't want him to cede that much control to a head coach, John. The Bill O'Brien experiment was an atrocity.
What I saw at Nick Caserio was a humbler, gentler, kinder, more communicative Nick Caserio than he has been. He's not a dictator in that we're going to do things my way. He's 7-26-1. He needs to cede some power. He needs to communicate more. He needs to take in more opinions. I don't want it to be Cal's opinion, okay, because Cal said he's going to have a bigger say in this process. I want it to be scouts, and I want it to be people in the organization, and I want it to be people outside of the organization that can give input. But you know what? I think that maybe we're going to turn a page here with Nick Caserio and get a guy who is actually going to listen to people as opposed to just being Belichickian in his role.
Would you like a Twitter poll
I don't want it. Well, Twitter
to help
poll
make decisions?
no, I don't want Twitter or Twitch.
You say get people outside of the organization.
Yeah, not
what
those
about
people.
Twitter?
Not Twitter people. No, I don't
Okay.
want them deciding anything
In life.
They can't decide on anything. And Twitter, nobody agrees on anything on Twitter. So no, we don't want them.